Some women carry light like a torch, others carry it like fire. And then there are women whose presence feels both like a blessing and a haunting. Women who embody what Carl Jung called the shadow feminine. They are neither soft nor cruel, they are simply whole. Have you ever wondered why a man can't stop thinking about a woman he couldn't fully possess? Why her silence lingers longer than her laughter, and her absence feels heavier than her presence ever did? It is not her beauty that haunts him, it is her depth. The woman who knows her shadows doesn't chase validation, she awakens reflection. She makes a man see the parts of himself he avoids in daylight. When she enters his life, it is rarely gentle. Her energy stirs something ancient within him, an echo of longing, confusion, and surrender. She sees through pretense, speaks to what is buried, and feels beyond logic. He may call it magnetism, but it is soul recognition, the meeting of his unhealed self with her self-mastery. Jung once wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." The dark feminine is that catalyst. She does not conform to the image of the good woman. She doesn't play small to make him feel large. She moves with quiet power, detached but alive, and her very presence forces him to question the masks he wears. He is drawn to her because she embodies what he represses, his own mystery, intuition, and emotion. The traits he once dismissed in others now command his attention in her. She represents the anima, the inner feminine within every man, the mirror of his own soul. When she looks at him, it feels like exposure. He feels seen not for who he pretends to be, but for who he truly is beneath the armor. And yet this very recognition frightens him. To love her is to face himself. She makes him feel both powerful and powerless. In her gaze he senses the truth that love is not control, it is surrender. But surrender requires courage, and not every man is ready to dissolve his ego in that kind of fire. She does not chase, because chasing breaks the spell. Her allure is in her restraint, her quiet understanding that connection cannot be forced, it must be felt. Her distance calls him deeper, not because she withholds, but because she refuses to shrink. She doesn't play by his emotional rhythm, she dances to her own. That is the essence of the dark feminine: presence without pursuit, intimacy without ownership. He begins to obsess not because she belongs to him, but that she doesn't. He senses her freedom and feels his own lack of it. Her energy reflects back his confinement, the routines, the personas, the fear of emotional exposure. Her self-possession triggers both admiration and resentment. He wants to claim her, yet somewhere deep inside he knows she cannot be claimed. The dark feminine woman does not punish, she reveals. Through her, a man glimpses the parts of himself he has long abandoned: the sensitive child, the emotional dreamer, the quiet seeker. But to keep her, he must meet her at her depth, and that requires growth. It requires stepping out of projection and into awareness. Many fail not because she is too much, but because they are not yet ready to meet themselves through her. And so, when she withdraws, it is not with anger, it is with understanding. She knows that love cannot be built upon denial. She walks away with grace, carrying silence like silk over her shoulders, leaving him with his own reflection. He calls her unforgettable not because of what she did, but because of what she awakened. Every man who crosses her path leaves changed. Some grow, some retreat, but none remain untouched. Her darkness is not malice, it is depth. It is emotional gravity, drawing truth out of everything it touches. She reminds him that intimacy is not built through constant presence, but through the courage to see and be seen, fully, vulnerably, without masks. For her, the journey is not about conquering love, it is about embodying it. The dark feminine knows that self-possession is seduction's purest form. Her energy says, "I do not need to be chosen to be worthy." She embodies the paradox of warmth and distance, of tenderness and strength. Her boundaries are sacred. Her silence is a language. He may try to forget her, distract himself, rationalize her mystery. But at night, when the noise fades, she returns in thought. Not her body, not her voice, but her essence. The quiet reminder of what truth feels like. She becomes a mirror in his dreams, the whisper of what it means to connect without losing oneself. This haunting is not a curse, it is a calling. The dark feminine appears in a man's life when he is ready to evolve, to integrate what he has exiled. She awakens his empathy, his vulnerability, his ability to feel deeply without fear. Through her, he learns that strength is not domination, but balance, not pride, but presence. And when she finally releases him, it is with reverence, because she knows the true transformation requires space. Her absence is not rejection, it is initiation. In losing her, he meets himself, and in finding himself, he understands her. For the woman, this path is sacred. She no longer gives her energy where it is not received. She no longer explains her intensity or apologizes for her intuition. Her presence becomes art, subtle, mysterious, magnetic. She embodies what Jung described as individuation, becoming whole, neither light nor dark, but both. She does not seek validation because she has learned the truth that every projection fades. What remains is essence. What remains is self. And so she walks in quiet confidence, her silence more eloquent than any word, her gaze softer, yet deeper than before. She knows now that attraction built on illusion burns quickly, but connection born of truth endures even in distance. Her power lies not in what she reveals, but in what she withholds. Her worth is not proven by pursuit, but by peace. And the men who meet her will always remember that she was the one who saw them before they saw themselves. Because the dark feminine doesn't chase, she invites. She doesn't demand attention, she commands awareness. She doesn't cling to the promise of love, she becomes its embodiment. And when she finally turns away, it is not loss that fills the air, but revelation. For she was never just a woman, she was the mirror of his becoming.